Cy-Borg Session 3 Killbox. Neon rain trickled down the fractured spine of the city, pooling in gutters and cracks, trying to wash away things that didn't want to be clean. Four figures crossed the threshold of the block like a bad idea made flesh, carrying more weapons than sense. Havoc led, huge and scarred, the sort of man whose face looked like it had once lost a fight to a brick wall and considered it a friendship. Ember moved beside him, quiet and razor-edged, exuding the permanent scowl of someone who had seen too much and approved of none of it. Lucky Lou brought a manic grin, the sort of grin that made sensible people nervous, and Zill trailed just behind. The one voice of restraint, sharp as scalpels, though far too often ignored. The block shuddered, shutters slamming shut like eyelids, snapping closed, and from the shadows a drone scuttled into life, its eyes blinking with manufactured malice. Havoc's rifle spoke first, tearing sparks out of the machine, but the drone vomited a thick yellow cloud in return. The gas rolled out, heavy and cloying, crawling into their lungs. Havoc blinked, lowering his weapon. "Think I want to hug somebody," he said dreamily. Ember's reply was immediate, clipped. "Don't." Lou waved the cloud away, still grinning. "Buddy gas." Trust Corps to invent tear gas for feelings. Zill only sighed. "A tranquilizer for aggression? Yes, let's all hold hands." Another drone skittered forward. Zill lobbed a grenade. The detonation strobed the corridor in harsh white light, cooking the machine into silence. Then a guard appeared at the far end, tossed a flashbang down the stairwell, and everything became white noise and louder pain. When the ringing cleared, Havoc's rifle had jammed. He frowned at it, turned it over, and, in a moment of inspired stupidity, tilted the barrel toward his own face. Lou lifted a hand, voice patient. "Mate, that's the part that does the shooting." Havoc considered this gravely. "Right." He shoved it into Zill's hands. "Fix it." Lou was already moving, circling wide. The guard didn't even have time to register the toothy grin before Lou's bullet took his head apart. The buddy gas thinned, and Havoc's fleeting affection for strangers vanished with it. Ember's scowl settled back into its usual residence. The stairwell yawned above them, because stairs, like problems, only ever went up. The stairwell was a symphony of grenades and bad decisions. One canister clattered down the steps. Lou scooped it up without hesitation and hurled it back, casual as tossing an empty bottle. The second exploded too soon, spraying shrapnel and dust. Lou staggered, smoke curling from his jacket. "That one's on me," he coughed. "Noted," Zill said dryly, as though adding it to an invisible ledger. Another defender tried a flashbang. Havoc, with the casual cruelty of a man towing a football, kicked it back up the steps. The explosion thundered upward, shaking the stairwell. They advanced. Ember pitched grenades upward with grim precision. Havoc thundered forward behind his shotgun. Lou's gunfire was wild, laughing chaos, and Zill's shots threaded through the storm like neat punctuation. One defender broke. His rifle clattered down the stairs. "Don't shoot," he screamed. "We surrender." For a heartbeat, the air stilled. Havoc's finger hovered on the trigger. Lou's grin faltered. "So, we just let him—" Havoc fired. The man folded into himself on the stairs. Silence pressed in, heavier than the smoke. Lou exhaled, grin returning but brittle. Guess mercy didn't make the budget. Zill didn't even look up. It never does. The stairwell stank of powder and inevitability. They climbed on. The apartments above were a gallery of bad choices. The first door cracked open to reveal a frightened woman. Children clustered behind her like shadows. Zill showed her a badge that meant nothing, voice calm. "Stay inside." Safer. The door shut again, quick as hope. The second door went down under Havoc's boot. Inside, a man sat in his underwear with a VR headset clamped to his skull, oblivious to the apocalypse. The air smelled of sweat and disuse. Lou plucked the headset off, turned it in his hands. "Side quest," he muttered. He dropped it back onto the bed. "We're not paying for the DLC." The third door was bolted twice. Ember listened, heard breathing, and the drone of a television. He kicked it open, frame splintering. Inside, stacks of stolen gear, med kits, projectors, crates of smart ink jackets. A man sprang up with a shotgun. Havoc answered with his own. The man crumpled. Havoc picked up the sawn-off, admiring its weight. "Home defense," he said with satisfaction. Lou dug through the stash. His fingers closed around a credit chip. It twitched, pulsed, and then sank into his palm. His hand convulsed, splitting, sprouting writhing tentacles that whipped up and coiled around his throat. Lou gagged, clawing at his own hand. "Get it off! Get it off!" Zill's blade flashed. The tentacles hit the floor, wriggling like worms in panic. Lou collapsed, coughing, only to look up and laugh hoarsely as new tendrils sprouted. "Guess I'm evolving," he rasped, showing them off with a bloody grin. "Darwin can suck it." "Disgusting," Havoc muttered. "Jealous," Lou wheezed, waggling the appendages. The fourth door slammed shut before they reached it. Ember kicked it in. The woman inside wasn't a woman anymore. Her limbs stretched unnaturally, her teeth like needles, her outlines shimmering into invisibility. She struck Havoc first, teeth sinking into his arm. Poison surged into his veins. He roared, staggered. Ember slammed her into the wall. Lou clawed at empty air, swearing. "Left!" Zill snapped. "Nah, your other left!" Havoc's shotgun barked, tearing through wall and flesh alike. The mutant shrieked, darted out through the wreckage. Lou hurled a grenade after her. The explosion thudded through the hall. Inside, an altar smoldered with guttering candles. Runes crawled across the walls. A dagger lay waiting, curved and gleaming, too pleased with itself. Zill reached for it, unable to resist. The moment his skin touched the handle, pain seared him. He shrieked, the chamber filling with a hiss like steak on hot metal. The dagger clattered from his hand as he recoiled, clutching his palm. Lou smirked faintly. "Guess it doesn't like you." Ember wrapped the blade in cloth, muffling its faint, eager hum. "This wasn't worship," he said grimly. "This was testing." The silence that followed was worse than noise. Silence here meant the building was listening. The corridors narrowed, funneling them deeper into the block. Plastic flaps hung from door frames, cold air bleeding through like the place was stitched together with butcher's curtains. They pushed into a chamber where a vat glowed faintly green, the surface rippling like something alive underneath. Chains rattled overhead, one of them cradling a man without skin, lacquered and twitching in the stale light. "Do not touch," Zill warned, his tone as dry as concrete dust. Havoc leaned in anyway, peering as if it were soup. He dipped a finger before anyone could stop him. Flesh hissed away in an instant, leaving raw bone gleaming white. He yanked it back with a snarl. "Soup's off!" Lou doubled over laughing, clutching his sides. "Oh, mate! Finger guns!" "You're literally making finger guns." Ember folded his arms. "You're both children." A robed figure shuffled along the gantry, lips fused with melted plastic. They dragged him down and cut him loose. He gagged, spitting blood, muttering broken fragments. "Cleanse, stretch, bind, come out new." His eyes lingered on the vat with holy devotion. Lou wrinkled his nose. Corporate wellness program. Shame about the dental. The cultist collapsed in worship. The crew left him where he lay. Another curtain, another surprise. 10 twisted shapes lurked beyond. Things with limbs too long, mouths split too wide. Prototypes that should have been deleted in the draft stage. They howled and surged forward. Grenades shook the room. Ember stamped down, snapping bone like twigs. Havoc's shotgun punched theology into torsos. Lou's bullets tore through flesh as he cackled, and Zill's precision dropped them with neat surgical finality. When it was over, the mutants lay in heaps. The smell of them hung in the air like regret. "Upgrades," Ember muttered, scanning the corpses. "Downgrades," Zill corrected. Lou wiped his mouth, still grinning. "Customer returns." They moved on. The laundry level was worse. Fluorescent tubes buzzed overhead, vending machines humming along the wall. One had been dragged aside, scrape marks pointing toward a dark gap. Lou peered in. Secret entrance or corporate snack storage? "Trap," Zill said. "Shortcut," Lou countered. "Both," Ember sighed, stepping through. The tunnel dropped into a chamber where another vat sat waiting, this one cloudy and white. A robed technician tapped at a console, his devotion as mechanical as the machine he served. Havoc didn't bother with introductions. He grabbed the man and hurled him in. The technician screamed, flailed, and clawed his way out the other side, encased in a plastic sheath. His body gleamed with a new, hideous skin. Lou tilted his head. Instant cosplay. Pretty sure he's dressed as an idiot. He flexed his writhing tentacle hand at Havoc, grin wide. See? Still winning. Evolution, he declared. Devolution, Zill said without looking up. Ember ran his fingers along the walls, tracing sigils etched into concrete. This isn't worship. This is procedure, a factory line. The laminated technician shrieked and thrashed. The crew kept walking. The stairwell roared again, muzzle flashes strobing the dark. Grenades, smoke, and screaming ricocheted off concrete. Ember's grenades tumbled upward like angry punctuation marks. Havoc thundered forward, shotgun barking. Lou fired wildly, grinning through the chaos. Zill's bullets slotted into the spaces between, methodical and cold. One defender broke. He dropped his rifle, raising his hands. "Don't shoot! We surrender." Havoc didn't pause. The blast from his shotgun silenced the plea. Lou's grin slipped, then returned brittle. "Mercy's still off budget." "Always has been," Zill murmured. They stepped over the body, boots echoing against the silence that followed. At the top, they found a bare chamber, walls empty save for 3 doors. Minimalism always carried menace in places like this. "Left," Havoc said. The door opened into a hall of pillars. At the center, an altar squatted like something smug. Runes crawled along the walls. Candles guttered. Lou raised his tentacle hand, wagging it. "Not touching anything this time." "Learned my lesson." "For once," Ember muttered. A dagger rested on the altar, curved and gleaming, humming faintly as if it knew secrets. Zill stepped forward. He reached, lifted it, and the moment his skin touched the hilt, pain screamed up his arm. He howled, the chamber filling with a hiss like meat on a hot skillet. The dagger clattered to the floor, his palm blistered and smoking. Lou smirked. "Guess it doesn't like you." Ember wrapped the blade in cloth, muffling its low hum. His voice was tight. "This isn't a shrine. It's testing." The silence after was suffocating, the kind that pressed into ears and down into bones. The kind that told you the block was listening, and still listening, and waiting. That was where they left it, standing in the block's silence, weapons heavy in their hands, burns raw on their skin, laughter trembling in their throats because the alternative was screaming. They were not heroes, but perhaps they were exactly what the block deserved.